lately there's been an increase in rejection of student visa application from the German consulate or embassy, as it may be in your country. Now, why is that? That's because students no longer prepare for their interview before going on the appointment day. And the reasons given for this rejection is like things that shouldn't be. So students don't prepare and just feel like it's a walk in the park, or I'm just going to go there and come out and that's it. No, you need to prepare very well, because in some countries you're required to write some tests, you're required to answer some questions, about Germany, like general questions. And then based on that, you get your visa approved or rejected. Now, I'm not trying to make this video to scare anyone, but I'm just trying to make this video so you can be well prepared for your visa interview appointment, and at the end of the day, have a successful appointment and get your visa approved. Now, I'm going to break this video into 4 parts. I'm going to talk about general questions. I'm going to talk about questions pertaining to Germany. It could be political or anything, just to know if you know anything about the country you intend coming to. I'm also going to talk about financial questions. And lastly, I'm going to talk about red flag questions. So I'm going to advise you that you watch this video to the end. Don't miss out any part, so you can have all of the information you need at your fingertips and have a successful visa interview on the day of your appointment, as to get your application approved. So before I get into the video, just a tip about your dressing. There's a saying, dress the way you want to be addressed. So you don't want to be looking shabby or looking in some kind of way. You're going for an appointment, a visa appointment. You're not going for a party. You're not going for like a normal outing. You're going for an appointment. So you should dress corporate, dress in a neat way. You don't have to do too much, just dress neatly and make sure your appearance like is top notch, and you don't have to break the bank to do that. So these general questions are asked like to know your reason for coming to Germany. So sometimes they might ask you, why Germany? Why not Canada, UK, or Australia, or the United States? And so you should be able to answer this. And all of these things you're saying should also correlate with what is in your motivation letter, because the reason why you're asked to write a motivation letter is to be able to say, what exactly is pushing me to study in Germany? Why do I want to come to Germany to study? Why don't I want to go to some other country? And try to think this through. I don't want you to answer in a generic way, oh yeah, Germany offers tuition free and all of that. Think of something different. Like, what do you think Germany brings to the table when you think about coming to Germany? What is that first thing that comes to your mind? Because when you say Germany offers tuition free, everyone knows that. And then you say, oh, because other countries don't offer tuition free, everyone knows that. Try to always think differently. Like, try to think out of the box. What every other person will say, you don't need to say that. Come up with something else, and that will make you stand out in your interview. Another thing they're going to ask you is about your course. So they'll ask you what program you're going for. Is it a master's program? Is it a bachelor's program? And the name of the course, is it international management? Is it engineering? They're going to ask you, okay, tell us what department is your course in your university. They're going to ask you, okay, what state is your university located in Germany? They could even ask you who's the mayor of that state where your university is located. They could also ask you questions like, what is the name of the president of your university? And the most important one, they're going to ask you modules in your course. So there are modules you are going to be doing in your course in first semester, second semester, and last semester. So they might ask you just for the first semester, or generally name like 2 or 3 modules you're going to be doing during your study. So you should be able to know this, because while applying for your university, you've gone through the courses, the curriculum, the school, your university's website, the department website, and know so many information. They're going to ask you about professors also in your department. So you should be able to know these things, and not like when they ask you, you don't have to think. They should be at your fingertips, because it's really important to you that you have to come study in Germany. So all of these questions shouldn't be something you have to think so much to answer them. Also, they might ask you what is the duration of your study. If it's 2 years, you tell them it's 2 years. If it's 1 year, you tell them it's 1 year. They can also ask you what is the language of instruction. Some courses are taught both English and German. Some are taught fully English. Majority of master's program in Germany are all in English. So this shouldn't be difficult for you. Just go straight to the point. You don't have to say stories. Just go straight to the point and answer the questions. And they might also ask you, what are your plans for accommodation? So by now you should already have a plan for your accommodation. If you don't have an accommodation yet, you can just tell them you are already in contact with your university, and they're going to connect you with providers of accommodation, because the school usually provide. If you write to the student and work in your school, if they don't offer accommodation, they usually provide you with people who offer accommodation. You can do that as well, and you won't have any issue. And another question that could come up is, why another master's or why another bachelor's? This comes up frequently, especially for those who are going for a second master's or a second bachelor's. So if you are going for a second bachelor's, this is where it gets tricky. You have to be smart in answering this question. Again, this is also a repetition of what should already be in your motivation letter. So don't say something that is not out, that is not in your motivation letter, because while you're talking, your visa officer is going through your motivation letter to see if what you're saying correlates with what is in your motivation letter. So you should be able to answer this. You know the reason why you are going for a second master's or a second bachelor's. If it's to get more information or more insight about this course, since you're doing it internationally, then you say it, or you have some reasons why you're actually going for a bachelor's or another master's. Now, another thing they're going to be asking you is questions about Germany. They're going to ask you, because it's recent, they're going to ask you who's the Chancellor of Germany. They're going to ask you who's the President of Germany. Presently, the Chancellor of Germany is Friedrich Merz. You should know that. Also, you should know the party that Friedrich Merz belongs to, and the other party, which is a coalition government. So you should know both parties. They're going to ask you how many states does Germany has. Germany has 16 federal states. You should know this. And they're going to ask you, okay, name at least 4 countries that are bordering, that are border to Germany. There are so many of them. There are about 9 of them. You should know them. There's Denmark, there's Netherlands, there's Belgium, there's France, Luxembourg, Czech Republic, and Poland. So you should have these things at your fingertip. So this is either you're using a blocked account, or you are using a sponsorship later, or you are using a scholarship, any of these 3. So if you're using a blocked account, they'll ask you questions pertaining to that. Maybe how did you come about raising the money? You could just simply say, oh, I was working. If you were working before your studies, before applying to come to Germany, I was working and I saved some money, and also my family assisted me in this. You just come up with something. You don't have to lie, or because if you lie, they know you're lying. These people are psychologists. They know when you're lying. So if you're using sponsorship letter, you should be able to know the name of your sponsor. If the person is married, you should be able to know the name of the kids, where the sponsor is working. Anyone who is sponsoring you, whether it's an uncle or cousin or relation or friend, you should be able to know 1 or 2 things about the person. If you don't know anything about the person, trust me, you'll receive a rejection, because how won't you know someone that is sponsoring you? It makes no sense, right? So another thing they're going to be asking you is the scholarship. So they're going to ask you the body that is covering your scholarship, and is it partly covered or is fully covered scholarship that you got. So you have to know all these things. Don't think, oh, because I'm going with scholarship, they're not going to ask me any of these questions. It's just going to be like a walk in the park. I'm just going to... No. They're going to ask you because they want to know if you know anything about the scholarship that was awarded to you. You see, these questions are really easy, and they're also they're easy to answer, right? And these questions could also determine whether you will get your appointment, your visa approved or rejected, because this is where most students don't get it. So one of the red flag questions you want to be mindful of, they're going to ask you, do you plan on working in Germany after studies? Or tell us, what plan do you have generally after you're done with your studies? Now, most students who don't prepare or have experience answering such questions are just going to say, oh, I'm going to finish my master's program or my bachelor's program, and then I'm going to start looking for a job in Germany and contribute my quota to the economy. That's something you don't want to say. That's something you don't want to say. The best answer you can give is, once I'm done with my master's program or my bachelor's program, as the case may be, I plan on returning back to my country to contribute my quota in the relevant field of study where I studied in my country. That's it. Don't say too much. Sometimes when you talk too much, you end up saying things that you're not supposed to say, and this will land you in getting your visa rejected. Even if you perform well in your test questions, or you answered all of the questions correctly, or everything was going smoothly, the moment you just say something like this, that's the end. So you have to be mindful of such questions. That's why I call them the red flag questions. Another thing you want to be mindful of is, have you been to Germany, or have you been to Germany before, or do you have relatives in Germany or in Europe? Now, you might think, oh, I have relatives living in Germany, but I don't want to mention it. But one thing you should know is that you are talking to the government of where you're representative of the government of where you're going to. So they have all the information, but they want to know. So if they ask you, do you have relative, or do you have relatives living in Germany, for example? If this person is the one sponsoring you, you can make mention of this person. Yes, I have a relative. Yes, I have someone who is related to me living in Germany since so time. Maybe he has been living in Germany for 3 years or 2 years. That is if they ask you how long the person has been living here. Or if you have friends and you don't want to, for me, I would advise you, you should come clean. You don't have to lie about anything, because if you lie, they know you're lying. So you can either say, okay, you have someone who is living in Germany, or you can say, yes, you have a couple of relatives living in Germany, in this state and that state, and you end it at that. Or in some other case, if you feel like, oh, I don't want to say, okay, they are living there, I can just say, yes, maybe the first person sponsoring, yes, I have someone living in Germany. Or no, I don't have. If you don't have anyone living in Germany, even if you have a friend living in Germany, you don't need to say that. That's not the question. The question is relative. If you've been to Germany before, yes, I have been to Germany, maybe on tourism or some other thing, maybe conference or some other things that you could be anything that brought you to Germany, maybe a language course, and afterwards you came back to Germany. Why they're asking you this question is to know if you're going to lie, if you've been to Germany, and to see that you actually came back, because some people come for maybe tourist visa and they end up not coming back. So the main reason of asking you is to know if you're going to lie, if you've not been to Germany before, if it's your first time. So it's always good that you're being truthful, just tell them, yes, I have been to Germany, or no, I haven't been to Germany. This would be my first time if my visa is approved. So you want to be really careful about some of these questions. If you know the answer to these questions, you give them as it is. You don't have to say 3 paragraphs for every question. No, because one thing I've noticed about human beings is that once you start talking too much, you end up saying things that you were not asked. My main aim of making this video is for you to have a successful interview when you go for your appointment and get your visa approved so as to come to Germany to study and do other things. One thing you should know is that, yes, these people want you to finish studying and stay in Germany, get and contribute your quota to the economy and the growth of this great country. But also you need to know that it is normal by rule that once you're done with your master's program, your 2 years program, you have to come back. So you have to also follow that route that, yes, when I'm done, I have to come back. So I hope this video helps you in preparing for your visa interview. And if you got value from this video, do well to give this video a thumbs up by liking this video. Also, drop your comments in the comment section of what you think about this video. If you've gone for your visa interview, your experience could be helping someone else who is watching this video. Also, do well to share this video, that way it gets to a wider audience. And if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I really don't know why to hit the subscribe button down below so we grow this community. We are gradually getting to 6K subscribers. That's amazing. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been part of this the growth of this channel. You've been awesome and I don't take it for granted. Also, if you are yet to follow me on Instagram, honestly I don't know why, do well to follow me. I drop short videos there about Germany and some other things. So you want to follow me on Instagram at SamuSticks. Until the next time, I love you guys. Stay focused, stay motivated. Adios.